Joe, Joe, what's up, dude?
Not
What is
much.
up? Hey,
It's
look.
Tuesday night.
It is Tuesday night. Look, no, you see this? No silly, what do you call those timers on here that's going to make people sit here for like 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes with that stock music from YouTube. This is a 5 minute hourglass, okay? For the next 5 minutes, we're going to let people jump on. We're going to just shoot the bull, chit chat, do our own thing. And when this thing drops all the sand from there to there, we'll kick off the show, okay? It's Tuesday and it's my birthday.
Happy birthday to Mr. Travis.
Thanks, dude. Uh, I haven't even had any sweets yet, but I will tell you one thing. I ate way too much for my birthday dinner. Way too
Where'd
much.
you guys go?
All right, so but some people know, hey, appreciate it. Some people know that for 10 years I owned and operated a burger restaurant. And people ask me all the time, hey, do you still go like back to that restaurant or can you get me free food? Can you, if I go in and tell them that I know you, will they be able to hook me up, man? As much as I love that restaurant, it still means a lot to me because I was there for 10 years. Um, I just don't eat there anymore. I'd say I probably eat there 3 or 4 times a year. After
What
10
kind of
years,
what kind of restaurant?
it was burgers, man. It was
Oh, burger.
burgers.
Okay, burgers.
So
Yeah.
I wanted a burger for my birthday. I always go get a burger. I go get a burger. And I could go to my old restaurant for free. My brothers still own it. They still
Yeah.
operate it. But
Yeah.
after 10 years of eating there, to me it doesn't have a whole lot of like unique taste to me anymore. I have to go somewhere totally different. And so I'm kind of a sucker for like a fast food burger.
Yeah.
In my new jam, man, sounds crazy. Um,
Wendy's.
no, hey, but there is a Wendy's opening up like just right down the street from me. So I'm kind of secretly excited about that. But do you have a Freddy's up there in South Jersey?
No, so what we have up here is called Five Guys.
Oh, we got Five Guys.
The I see the Longineers in the chat. He probably knows what that a Five Guys is. I mean, it's really good. It's a good burger place.
Oh, I know. Of course, look, if you're going to start a burger restaurant, who are you going to research? You're going to research the Five Guys. It's actually
Yeah.
six. There's five
Oh,
boys
really?
and their dad. It started out as four boys and their dad, and then now it's five. They had a fifth kid. I mean, years ago, but it's the Morrell family. Jerry Morrell and his four boys.
Hmm.
I mean, they figured it out. So
Yeah.
before we started our restaurant back in 2009, that's who we researched. I mean, if you were going to open up a better burger restaurant, that was it.
So by the college near me, there's another burger place. It's called Smash Burger.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's a chain or not, but they're known for like smashing the burger with like this thing. I don't know what it is, but
it's
um, and they have like really thin cut fries, like just like super, like almost pencil thin. Um, that's like their thing, but they've been around for a while and they do good because it's by the college.
oh
So we
there's
have a college. We have a college in South Jersey called Rowan, where I went, and we get a lot of North Jersey people that go to Rowan. So
nice.
it's a good spot for people to open up businesses. Kind of take out or pizza or things like that because the college kids that's what they want. Something quick and easy.
Yeah, we've got a smash burger here too. Well, it's up the street from me. A guy named Tom Ryan started that. I mean, the huge crates. Of course, there was what's it called? Oh gosh, the steak burgers like Freddy's steak burgers, Steak and Shake. Those were really
Like Shake
popular.
Shack, kind of. Yeah.
And then of course Tom Ryan when they started Smash Burger, that's when the whole craze of smash burgers and steak style burgers really took off. But I'm seeing Freddy's, I'm seeing who else would say Shake Shack is really popular through the Northeast, but down here, and I mean there are a lot of these big names, but turf culture, man, I'm not kidding you. I tried Freddy's one time, and it's legit. Like it is legit, and I had heard it was good, and I just couldn't. I couldn't really get on board. And once I tried it, yeah, yeah, that was my birthday dinner tonight. That was my birthday dinner. And Joe, guess what? That's it. That's 5 minutes. Okay. That's 5 minutes. The show starts now. This is the program with no name. I like that. I mean, I like that.
I like it too.
I,
We're gonna talk about whatever we want, and the topics are gonna change from week to week. And obviously, this week's a big week coming up, especially where I live at. And
hey,
but
let's get into that in a second.
wait, before we get into that, did you know on this day in 1964, the British invasion launched with the Beatles arriving in the U.S. And they landed in New York City, and 2 nights later, the Beatlemania stormed America, and their performance on the Ed Sullivan Show was watched by 73 million people.
I'm going to tell you something though. Unpopular opinion. I don't like the Beatles. I don't care for the Beatles. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. You know, much like I don't care about my lawn, Joe. I don't care about the Beatles, and I don't care about my lawn. You know.
I listened to some Beatles growing up. Actually, one year when I was in marching band, we went to the Outback. No, was it the Outback Bowl? No, the Holiday Bowl in San Diego. And one of the songs that we had to perform was "Here Comes the Sun." It was actually pretty cool. They had like fireworks shooting off next to us in the middle of the field. It was the old Qualcomm Stadium in San Diego. That was pretty cool. And actually, Adrian Peterson was playing in that game, and we actually sat behind the Oklahoma bench while the game was going on. It was pretty cool. It was a really cool experience. But
that sounds cool.
Anyway,
but I guess it'd be a lot cooler if I cared for the Beatles. But yeah, so this is the program with no name. Joe and I've been sitting here trying to think of some cutesy wootsy, whatever you want to call it name, but it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter. We're going to jump on here every Tuesday evening. We're going to try to at least. Look, we have lives, families, kids, things going on, jobs. If it doesn't happen, we'll let you know in advance. But for now, this is a program with no name. And guess what, Joe?
We will let you know if we don't show up. We definitely, if for some reason we can't make a show, we will let you know.
Absolutely.
We're not going to one of us is not going to hop on. So.
Absolutely. And Joe, hey, we're going to get to this in just a second about how we even got here in the Travis and Joe show. We talked about that. We
had some pretty good names. I thought we had some pretty good names, but we'll see.
We'll kind of fill it out. But part of this deal was there was one stipulation that Joe told me when I approached him, or kind of, I don't know. It wasn't like a formal ask, was it, Joe? It wasn't something like, this kind of happened organically and almost unexpected.
Yep.
We'll kind of get to that in just a second. But one of the stipulations when I asked Joe, you know what he told me? Joe, you don't even know what you told me.
I don't remember. I don't even remember. It's been a while.
You told me.
I have a bad memory, so.
You told me that the only way you were going to do this show is if we made sure to let people know all of your affiliate links. So, So I put a list together for every no name without you. Okay. Yes, we're getting there. We're getting to Joe, but most of you people are tuning in because you want to know what are you doing in your lawn. So let's get that out of the way. Joe.
So
what are you doing in your lawn?
I am doing nothing in my lawn right now. It's so for people that don't know who I am, I was formerly the Lawn Warrior. I had a Lawn Warrior channel, and I'm transitioning more to being called, or I changed my name to Water Boy Productions. If you're from my area, we don't say water, we say water. So you're going to catch on to that throughout the time being here with me. But yeah, so I'm in South Jersey. I'm about 20 minutes from Philadelphia, and I lived here my whole life. And I have tall fescue, and that's about all I really want to talk about with lawn care. But
So what you're saying is you're not doing a whole lot in your lawn right now, right?
no,
No,
uh,
there's not much going on in my lawn either. I
the
mean,
only thing I did in the last 2 months was I spray painted my lawn to make a video about you,
oh,
and
yeah.
and that's pretty much where our journey begins.
Yeah, that's. I would say that's probably. I would say that's probably a.
And my neighbors are probably like, "What the hell is this guy doing
Yeah,
with a can of spray paint, spraying it on his lawn?"
everybody knows my affinity for spray paint. I might be like the biggest fan of spray paint. No. Okay. My like yeah, it's winter. It's still
It's
winter.
it's winter, but people are still having podcasts about it every week. So it's like I don't know what's there to talk about, right?
you,
I mean,
I get it, but
you know,
if you follow Budget Lawns, you saw last week, Joe. We kept in touch last week. I'm a teacher. My wife's a teacher. I'm a teacher as well. We're in the same school district. We were out of school all week long. Now we didn't have days off. We had what's called AMI or alternative method of instruction days. So we were working from home, trying to do our instructing from home, but it's not the same as being at school, but it's still fully winter here. Like we
yeah.
we have no uh, sight of spring anywhere in the distance. Now, I, 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 I I get that the closer we get to March, people start getting that little itch back in them because March 1st is kind of the meteorological start of spring, but the
Mhm.
actual astronomical start doesn't start till like the third week of March. So we're still a bit of ways from that. So lawn care is kind of like,
I
eh,
get my weather from the groundhog. Got
yeah,
he told me 6 more weeks of winter. So
yeah, absolutely.
I just learned this week that they're really sick up there. Those people, they used to eat groundhogs after after they used to, like, they do the shadow thing with him. They used to eat like literally groundhogs as like a celebration. I mean, how sick is that? That I couldn't believe it, but it's true. I mean, I don't know. I don't think they do it today, but they used to do it like back in the day. But yeah. So
Well,
6 more weeks of winter, thanks to what's his name, Punxsutawney Phil.
yeah, you gotta love him. But hey, look. In the end, even though we're not doing anything in our lawns, and some of us are a little bit more excited about it coming up, because maybe you're in an area where the winter is already, it's kind of been mild and warm. Now, we don't know what's going to happen in the next 14, 21 days. I mean, if you like to look at the long range forecast, perhaps you have an idea, but we don't know if it's just going to, like, the bottom's going to fall out again here in a couple weeks. But mild winter, I get it. It kind of gets you itching for the lawn season. But for me and Joe, we've been kind of talking about it. We're not there yet, but we can't deny the fact that in the end, like we're all sitting here on this live stream at 8:08 p.m. and just to give you
9:08
a head,
Eastern Standard Time.
8:09 Central, not just to give you a heads up. If you see me looking up the hogs, that's why I got my hogs on right here. They're about to tip off against Kentucky in Rupp Arena, so if you see me looking up and you're interested in the score, you might hear me give a Hog Hoops update from time to time. But so that's what I'm watching off in the distance. But that's coming up. But it's lawn care that brought us all here together on YouTube on a Tuesday night. But what brought, I know a lot of you, if any of you know Joe from Waterboy Productions formerly of formerly of the Lawn Warrior, some of you may be wondering how in the heck did these two link up for a live stream? And we're going to be honest with you. Um, we we kind of ask ourselves the same question: how in the world did we even get here? How are we sitting
I,
right here together in a two box on YouTube, streaming live in front of I don't know how many people are watching right now, a handful. how did we get here? Because I'm going to be honest. Okay, I'm going to be honest. Um, I wasn't a fan of Joe. I didn't subscribe to Joe's YouTube channel till just recently. Just recently. A lot of the things you're going to hear Joe and I talk about on Tuesday evenings, he's not heard from me yet, and I've not heard from him. So you're going to hear some things that may take each of us by surprise. And I hate to use this word because I'm not going to use it because I try not to, but and my wife would really scold me if I did. I don't use the H word, but man, I thought Joe was
You could say it.
he was crummy.
I,
I strongly disliked Joe. Of course, here I am with
there's a
this.
lot of people. You're not the first one, so you won't be the last one.
Of course, here I am. A lot of you probably listen to me and go, "What is this redneck hillbilly from Arkansas know about anything?" Blah blah. And of course, I'm listening to Joe, thinking, "Golly, this dude, this Jersey or Philly, he's always wearing Philly stuff. My gosh, what is this act? I can't listen to this. I can't listen to this guy." But did we, Joe? How did we end up crossing paths? You know.
Yeah, I mean,
It.
and you know, and then and then I kind of didn't like some of the stuff you had to say, and then but I reached out to you, and we just started talking, and I made a parody video about you, and that got a lot of people talking, and honestly, we have a lot more in common than you would think. After we've been talking about this show now for what, a month or so, and like really diving into it, and I think we have a lot more in common, like I said, than we think. And I have 2 young kids, and you have 2 young kids that are our kids are almost about the same age, and I think we just have we like making content. I like making content. We both have a big sports interest. We're going to talk about some of the Eagle stuff here tonight, and it's going to be fun. It's fun getting to know somebody that at one point you really didn't like, and now now you have a mutual, I guess you could say, understanding for each other, and
Weatherman at one point, so Joe was kind of picking at me being a weatherman and putting me in a boat. And look, there are times on YouTube and other social media outlets where, look, we kind of take jabs at people, and we get jabs taken at us. And if you take it all in stride, sometimes it's hard to understand when people are taking it in stride.
Yeah, and some people can take it, and then some people, when you poke at them a little bit, they can't handle it, and so hey, we're at this point now, and I'm glad we're at this point, and we're gonna have fun with it, and see how this goes.
Well, that's the whole point. So you're saying that you can't hear any of that audio from the video that I showed or the story? All right. So when you pull away from his picture, so you were saying, okay, we'll just stay on this, Joe. But
Okay.
so I actually thought it was funny when Joe was making fun of me. He took some jabs at me in some other ways as well, and I thought, look, it was funny. And when he reached out to me against probably my better judgment, I told Joe, gave him my phone number. I think you reached out to me on Instagram. You said, right?
Yeah, on Instagram.
I don't do Instagram. I don't do TikTok. I don't do Snapchat. I don't do any other streaming platforms or any other social media platforms, anything like that other than YouTube. So I told Joe, look, I don't know this guy. I don't really care for him. I might be, making some sort of deal with the devil. But Joe, just here's my number. If you want to reach out, call me. I'm always up for like talking to people, like Joe said, like learning a little bit about something or someone and their interests and things that, you know, I don't think I would really care about that person or their things, but it's interesting to me because Joe's in a totally different part of the world. Joe, well, not world, part of the country up around Philadelphia, and he's a huge Eagles fan. And we learned really quickly that guess what? We got that in common, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
oddly enough, I'm a huge Eagles fan as well. Now, I'm
Now
down
you
here in Arkansas where it's. Go ahead, Joe.
it's a little bit different when you don't, when you're when you're 20 minutes from the stadium and you got to live through, 5 NFC championships back in the early 2000s and never making it to the Super Bowl. And then once you do make it to the Super Bowl, your quarterback throws up in the huddle, you know, but hey, we got one in the bag a couple, 5 years ago now, and hopefully we'll get another one this Sunday. And I'm very optimistic about it. So I listen to sports talk all the time. In our area, it's 94.1 WIP is what I listen to. And they have in the morning, well, it's going to be the morning show soon because the one guy's retiring, thank God. We have a couple, former players from the Eagles. So it's really refreshing hearing, different athletes talk about their sport. And we have our drop boards, and just Philly sports right now in general is amazing. I mean, you see what the Phillies did during the World Series. It's just there's no place like this area when your team is winning. I mean, I have my Eagles beanie on now. I have a couple other Eagles beanies, and I mean, especially when the team's winning, you go wherever you go and you have Eagles gear on, it's go birds. That's all you hear. Go birds, go birds. And it's just so refreshing to hear. Because like in our area, I know down south, things are a lot slower.
Well,
And up here, everyone's in a rush, to get from where they got to get to, and it's just, especially my parents, they live in South Carolina now. They moved there about like 3 or 4 years ago, right outside of Myrtle Beach, and to retire. And it's just things are just so much slower down there. And it's like you go to a Rite Aid or you go to a store and they want to have a conversation with you and you just want to get the hell in and out.
No, dude, it's a slow pace down here, and you sit there and talk about your affinity for the Eagles. Hey, thanks, John. Give me the Hogs, Chuck. That means nothing to you guys, but the Hogs are on. We're just over 5 minutes into the first half. Hogs are up 11-9 over Kentucky. So if you see me looking at that, it's my distraction, I guess you'll say. But look, here it's all about our college teams. We live and die by college athletics. We were talking the other day, and I almost felt like because Joe was right there in the mix of Philly that I had to kind of prove myself as an Eagles fan. Because here, I mean, I'll be honest, as long as college football's going, most people in the South, we're not paying attention to the NFL. I can't do college football all day on Saturday and then do it again all day on Sunday. So when college football wraps up, that's when my attention kind of turns to the Eagles. But I was telling Joe the other day, I said, oh man, like remember the three straight runs to the NFC Championship, and we finally got there against the Pats in 2004 and couldn't pull it out. And Joe's like, yeah, you don't have to remind me. Like, and it's like straight up,
my
tell me
yeah,
how
one of my
it is.
yeah, I mean, one of my earliest memories, my dad's younger brother, he had season tickets for the Eagles back to the vet all the way to the link. And one of my earliest memories is him calling me during the 2003 NFC Championship game or 2002. It was the Bucks. I can't remember now when the Rondé Barber interception. And I remember him calling me. He was probably on a flip phone or something back then. And I just remember it being so loud. And he wanted me to hear it at the time. He didn't have any kids at the time yet. His kids are actually a lot younger than me. And yeah, I mean, it's just some of like just going to games here. It's I actually was at the TO preseason game when Donovan, it was his first game with the Eagles, and Donovan threw him that long touchdown pass on the first play of the game. And my uncle, where his seats were at the link, they were in the end zone. So he was like coming straight towards us. It was like it was the greatest thing in the world for a preseason game. It was like sold out. You don't see that stuff like in other cities where preseason games are sold out because a player signed with the team. And
But it's like
just stuff.
if it's like in golf, if
Uh,
Tiger's on the start list, if Tiger Woods is on the start list, people are going to that event. I mean, they up security. I mean, it's ridiculous.
yeah, like
Eh,
I've been to a Cowboys game many years ago when here, and it's just that's a totally different atmosphere too.
And
Um,
well,
it's just Philly sports in general, and I always say to people like I'm very lucky where I live. I live very close to Philly, and I live very close to the Jersey Shore. Where I live at, I'm about an hour away from Atlantic City. So, it's just like I'm very fortunate where I live at. Now, granted, our taxes are ridiculous in New Jersey, but uh, it's just a very great area, and I've been fortunate, like, just our sports in general have been pretty good,
oh,
in the
y'all
last
been. I mean,
20 years or so.
it's awesome. And me coming from the South, and we don't have a pro sport. Most people are Cowboys or Chiefs or St. Louis Cardinals or Texas Ranger fans. People are
The
always
the
like, well,
the cow who? The
the
cowgirls?
how about them Cowboys? But so many people say, well, how in the world, if you're from Arkansas, did you did you become an Eagles fan? Because it's really there are very few people around here that are Eagles fans. So I thought I would tell the story about how I became an Eagles fan, and I think that if you're over the age of what would you say? I don't know, maybe 25. If you're over the age of 25, you can probably relate to this. But every year around Christmas, we
No,
would.
I know the older. I know what picture you're gonna show, and no,
No, I don't. I don't
like,
have it. I'm not going to switch.
uh,
Joe and I had some pictures and videos and stuff we wanted to switch to, but it sounds like we're doing the switching through OBS is not working on your end. I don't understand that. I'm hardwired to 1,000 meg internet, so whatever. But the way I became an Eagles fan was when I was a kid. My mom would get the Christmas J.C. Penney catalog, right?
mm,
She would get the Christmas J.C. Penney catalog, and that's how we created our Christmas list for Santa, and we always went straight to like the sports memorabilia, sports apparel, sports whatever section. And I remember being like a 6 or 7 year old kid somewhere around there, and you would write down on a piece of paper for Santa. Uh, Page 185, Section A, Item 12. And at the time, we wanted to have little kids' uniforms. We wanted, or football uniforms. So when you're 6 years old, 5 years old, how do you pick out a football uniform from the J.C. Penney catalog? You pick it out by what color it looks, or what color it is, and how cool the helmet looks. So I thought like the Eagles on the helmet, the Eagles wings on the helmet was pretty sweet. So that's how I became an Eagles fan when I was just a little kid. So I've kind of had to defend myself over the last, well, especially this year, but even back in 2018 when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, because everybody in Arkansas will convince you that, or try to tell you that you're just a fair weather fan. You're only like the Eagles because they're good. Who in Arkansas likes the Eagles? You should be a Cowboys fan. You should be a Chiefs fan. So I showed Joe a picture of my family from the 2018 Super Bowl where I was wearing a vintage Wilson V-neck number 12 Kelly Green Randall Cunningham T-shirt jersey. Like no one has a T-shirt Randall Cunningham jersey
the
in
ultimate weapon.
2023
Yeah.
unless they've been a fan of the Eagles for a long time. So
Yeah.
that's how I became an Eagles fan, and that was just, like Joe said
My
earlier, that was just one of the
speaking
strange ways that we found out we might have a little bit more in common than we initially thought.
speaking of jerseys, what was your first jersey that you ever got?
So we were talking about this before we came on. Joe, how he became a Duke basketball fan is beyond me. But the first jersey I ever had was one of the first when I was a kid. The Razorbacks it used to be really good in basketball, and a kid from my hometown was one of the studs on the basketball team for the Hogs back in the early '90s, and was on the championship team in '94, and then in '95 when we went to the final game again and got second to UCLA, but it was Corliss Williamson. He ended up playing for the Sacramento Kings. The Detroit Pistons was the sixth man of the year one year, and I think one of the very first jerseys I had was actually a Corliss Williamson basketball jersey. Now, if I'm not talking about uh, the Eagles little kid uniform out of the J.C. Penney catalog. But I'm gonna be honest with you, Joe.
My
I
my
don't know how you feel about it, but down here we kind of make fun of the dudes that wear the jerseys and stuff like that to the games. Is that a big deal for you, Philly folks, to
Yeah.
wear a game as an adult or a jersey to the game?
Yeah, there's so I just to piggyback off the jersey thing, my first jersey growing up was actually an Eric Lindros jersey. It was the white jersey with like the orange on the sleeves. I liked hockey when I was younger. Um, and I it sucks. It was one sport that I wish I really stuck with because I really enjoyed hockey. And then we moved to the town that I live in now. And I've been here most of my life. And I just never picked it back up. I'm more of my favorite sports basketball more than anything. Um, but yeah, jersey wise, I would say I was at a couple Phillies games this year, and yeah, I mean there's still a ton. I mean, especially with Bryce Harper being here, I mean there's a ton of people just especially the old school Phillies, the powder blues. I love the powder blues. They're my favorite. That's like what my dad grew up on. That era. Um, and My dad was actually growing up. He actually used to do. He used to be like the guys up that used to walk up and down the aisle selling popcorn and beer.
Oh,
And he used to
fun.
do that. He used to do that at the vet. And at the vet, man, you used to get away with so much, back in the day. And sometimes they would just like sell a case of beer and they would just go sit up at the top of the vet because like there's nothing to do. But yeah, I would there's I was at a Flyers game couple like last year. I wore my I got a newer Lindros jersey and I wore that. I mean, it's a thing. I mean, I'm
See,
not embarrassed. I'm not embarrassed to wear a
I
jersey.
think it's all a regional thing. Like down here, look, if you go to the
You guys
game.
are all in like polos and
Oh man, it's
yeah,
that.
right.
Yeah, that's
And
it.
like
Not me.
in khaki pants or something.
No, well, a lot of the I don't want to get to name calling, but yeah, a lot of those guys are. But that's it's just a regional thing because I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't be caught dead down here wearing a Razorback football jersey for KJ Jefferson at one of the games. But that's just a regional thing. But hey, I do want to talk about. We were talking about what we're doing in our lawns, and I know there's a lot of people. I've been getting a lot of questions about what I'm doing and when I'm going to put a pre-emergent down and all that kind of stuff. And in my schedule, if you know, we built this house and moved in last year. So we've been in here just over a year. So my schedule's kind of a little bit off because look, I'm in no rush. I plan on being in this house for a while and doing everything by the books or on my normal schedule is not that big of a deal. But I've been getting asked by some people like, when do you start mowing in Northwest Arkansas? When are you going to put your pre-emergent down? And about the only thing I'd say to that is, look, pre-emergent for me, if I were on my normal schedule, be coming sometime around the third week of March. Because I'm a little bit behind because of a new sodded lawn from last year, I will be putting it down in April sometime in around the same time. That's when I'll be kicking off with a scalp and getting into mowing. But here in Northwest Arkansas, man, the transition zone, when you've got Bermuda, I mean, I've seen snow in May before here in Northwest Arkansas. So look, I'm not gonna get the mower out twice a week till sometime in May once those temperatures are up close to 80. I mean, overnight lows in the 60s. So there's still time left, folks. I mean, just trying to enjoy the rest of your winter. College basketball. I mean, we're about right into March Madness. Is coming up soon. I mean, about the only thing you should be worried about, and I saw this the other day, and I just thought it was funny, and I thought it'd be worth bringing up because we're sitting here talking about you know, all the things we were kind of interested in as a kid and football and all this stuff. And I had an observation the other day that thought was funny, and I know some of you can relate to it. But have you ever noticed? Maybe you've seen that new commercial. I think it's a Progressive commercial where the guy's cleaning his trash cans. Have you seen that one, Joe?
Progressive. No, I probably
Is
haven't.
it
I don't know.
Progressive where he's like cleaning his trash can and the guy comes out and says, "Oh, I see you're cleaning your trash can. You've even got your name and phone number on it." And the guy's like, "Oh, you can't be too safe." And he's like, he says something like, the guy goes, "With trash?" But I've noticed, and it was just an observation, and I like random
Yeah,
observations, but
yeah.
we had an ice storm last week, and so many people in my neighborhood, like and even on Facebook, talking about with the service that picks up the trash, like freaking out because their trash hadn't been picked up, and they were doing everything they could in this ice to get their trash bins out to the curb. Why is that something? And I would imagine all the people that are like completely eaten up with or obsessive or compulsive about lawn care are probably those same people that will risk breaking a wrist or twisting an ankle to get their trash bins out to the curb in the middle of an ice storm. Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
get it.
I don't get it either.
And
Yeah.
it's funny because a friend of mine, uh, his family, he grew up in the garbage business, and it's funny because I was talking to him about this story, and he said that his dad growing up used to say that older people would plan their bowel movements around garbage pickup. Are you that anal about like? Are you that are you that anal? Speaking of
Wow,
bowel
that
movements, or about
wow
getting
that
your garbage cans out to the curb?
yeah, that took a. I was not expecting that to pop up.
I just thought it was funny because the
Yeah.
reason I say that I had to put my garbage cans out just a bit ago because this is the first week in 3 weeks our garbage has been picked up because we've had
Wow.
snowstorms, one snowstorm after another.
Yeah.
We didn't get picked up, and they leave you text messages or they leave you voicemails saying, "Hey, we're not running our service today," so you just don't put them out. They tell you that they're going to be behind, so it's just I just thought it was funny because I was
Yeah.
watching people out my front window going, "My gosh, it's okay, it's trash, it's just trash,"
Some
but
people are
it is.
particular about their trash.
It's just trash. Okay, so Super Bowl's coming up this weekend. Obviously, we can
Yeah.
tell who we're for. Joe sent me a picture last week of the Philadelphia Eagles field um, in advance of the NFC Championship. I guess that's been 2 weeks ago. Was that coming up on 2 weeks ago this Sunday? 2 weeks before the Super Bowl, and yeah, it looked pretty good. Joe and I couldn't decide. Was that really? Mother Nature in the warm winter. Yeah,
It's
you haven't even had a measurable snow yet, have you?
no, no. We had one snow where it was like a coating and it literally melted by noon. It was
Yeah.
like
We
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 haven't. It's been the longest. I think we're gonna probably hit a record this year for not hitting unmeasurable snow probably in a long time. So it's been slow. It's just it's been warm. It's been cold. Last Saturday was we had a bad wind chill and um it's just one of those winters. But
yeah.
I like a little bit of snow. I mean, myself, we have a place in our backyard that we can kind of go sledding in, and it just sucks. Like the kids, they're like, "Where's the snow? Where's the snow?" And it's it. They're I'm pretending. they have a sled, this plastic sled, and I got them sitting on me, and I'm like rocking the sled to pretend that we're like sliding down a hill inside, and because there's no snow, it sucks, but there's still time. It'll be this year. It's going to be one of those. It's going to be one of those winters where we're going to get like a late snow, probably like in March sometime.
Try something for us here. Okay, I want to switch over and see if we
If
can
we can hear,
if
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 they can
we
hear us.
if we can hear us uh, with a picture up. Okay, tell me if you can hear us with Joe's affiliate link. Cool. Could you hear us when we had Joe's affiliate link? Oh, you couldn't. Okay, thanks, John. All right. Well,
All right. Well, we'll have to work that
okay.
out for next
Yeah.
week.
Yeah. Well, you
That
do
sucks.
everything right. You do everything right. Joe and I, people don't know it, but we've done several tests of these lives before. So uh, you never know. It's the internet. But anyway, Super Bowl's coming up. Um, we're obviously Eagles fans. Joe, I wanted to
Yeah.
pull up. So Joe had some graphics drawn up for us. We were gonna talk about some prop bets and different money lines. If you're a big bettor, I'm not a big sports gambler. I mean, obviously, I'm budget lawn, so I mean, I don't gamble with my money. I don't spend a lot of money. I just I save it and invest it in certain ways. So I'll hold on to it. But
Yeah, and I'm not a big sports bettor myself. I mean, the most I do is just for the Super Bowl, and it's all off a gut. It's not. I'm not really looking at the odds. The plus, the minus, kind of thing. And so basically the graphics that we had up, I basically went on DraftKings. I used their sports book before. Obviously, coin toss, it's plus 100. So you get a dollar back. I mean, you're not gonna. There's not gonna be a big odds, making on the coin toss. And then just some of the prop bets are kind of cool. I like playing around with just some of them, like a jersey number of the first touchdown, over 11 and a half and under 11 and a half. Can everybody hear us when we have this
yes,
graphic
they
up?
can. I got it figured out. I got it
Oh,
figured out.
yes.
You should be able to
Yes.
hear us now. Yes, you should be able to hear us. Can you hear that?
Can you hear us now?
Yes, yes, they can. Joe, what were you saying,
All
man?
right, cool. Yeah, so the first one down there is jersey number of the first touchdown, over 11 and a half and under 11 and a half. What do you think, Travis? What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little list together, and I'm going to, we'll go look back maybe next week and see who got the, closest to whatever. I'm not going to look at the odds. I'm just going to say, what do you think, over or under 11 and a half for the first touchdown?
Dude, I'm telling you,
Jersey
I told you.
numbers. So it could be, it could be a Patrick Mahomes rushing touchdown. It could be a Jalen Hurts rushing touchdown. Obviously, he's number one. AJ Brown, he's 11. Devontae Smith is 6. I really don't know a ton of the KC players.
It depends on who gets the
Um,
ball first. Because if Philly gets the ball first, I mean, you know where they're going, who their big targets are. There's a good chance.
I mean,
There's a good
Miles
chance.
Sanders, he's 26. He's a running back for the Eagles. You could go Goddard to 88. I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think in the chat? I mean, what do you guys think? I'm gonna say over 11 and a half. That's what I'm gonna do. I don't know. What do you think, Travis?
I don't know, man. I just, I honestly, I had to ask Joe the other day. This is going to really, I don't know, for some of you, this will take away my man card. That I don't know a lot about betting. My little brother is a big time sports fan and loves to place bets, and he could tell me all these numbers, the plus and minuses, all this kind of stuff. Me though, like I really don't know. But if I had to guess on this, it
Yeah,
Mm.
don't be I really don't look at like so obviously like plus 105, you're gonna bet down, basically it's like anything like plus 100, plus 105, you're not gonna get much back. So I kind of look at just if I can double my money or get my money back kind of thing. Like I'm not like I'm putting down $5, $10 bets. I'm not putting down $100, $200 bet on one thing.
See,
So
my kind of bets to talk about are not so much the ones like this, but I love the ones where they talk about where they talk about what color Gatorade is the winning coach going to get doused
so
in after the
yeah,
game is.
I had that one I had that I did have that one written down and then, or I had it on my list, but I was like, well, I don't know. It like, I didn't actually, this year, I didn't see the super the not the super the national anthem. Usually, they'll have, like, how long you think the national anthem is, and I don't know, I didn't see that on DraftKings. I don't know if anybody else saw that, but, uh, I think it's hard for them to determine exactly how long, because like someone drags a note out or, or when they exactly start singing. Like, I don't know how they work that kind of thing, but um I think some of these are cool, like the field goal or extra point to hit an upright or crossbar. I mean, they're in a dome. Well, it's a open or closed roof, but the roof's probably going to be closed. Um and so I don't think they're gonna hit a crossbar at any chance. You know, so
And you came up with some of the more game line betting stats as well. That might be something that it seems like if you're a betting person, you're into the sports betting game, that you're going to be a little bit more interested in these types of things, not the little frilly, silly prop bets, right? Is that it, or what are you more interested in, Joe?
so actually I had a memory pop up on my Facebook today that I used to work for a big public company here in Jersey about like 5 or 6 years ago, and I won on a MVP. I believe it was actually I have a list of the MVPs, and it was actually Von Miller. He won the MVP, which is very rare for a linebacker to win an MVP. So, Jersey, we have betting now. We have, you can go on DraftKings, you can go on pretty much whatever casino down in Atlantic City now has a sports book. So, um, like, so the MVPs are kind of cool, like, because it's most of the time it's a quarterback. But like last year was Cup. He was a wide receiver. Tom Brady was the year before that. Patrick Mahomes the year before that. Julian Edelman, he's a wide receiver. Obviously, Nick Foles, bless his heart. Tom Brady, Von Miller, Tom Brady, Malcolm Smith was a linebacker. That was that Seattle game in the Meadowlands. Where they who did they play? They played Denver that year, yeah, and they kicked their ass. Um, Joe Flacco, he's a New Jersey native. Eli Manning. So there's a lot of quarterbacks, but your odds are obviously if you're picking something like a tight end, running back. Obviously you're going to get more for your return. If you do something out of out of the norm. And I feel like this game with Travis Kelsey being the tight end, it's kind of hard picking a tight end or a wide receiver because if that wide receiver is getting, say 2 or 3 touchdowns, obviously the quarterback threw them. Excuse me, it's kind of hard, to not pick a QB if that's the case. But yeah, I kind of like the MVPs, and then I like doing like the if you want to flip to the other one.
I mean, this is what most people are watching the Super Bowl for, anyways, right?
Yeah, and then the game line it's plus or minus, it's plus, it's 1.5, so it's practically a pick 'em.
they're
So,
watching for this, right? And let's be honest, it for a lot of people they wouldn't even be watching the Super Bowl if it wasn't for food, for drinks, and for sadly the commercials. Which, if you ask me, they haven't been all that great in recent years, anyways. But they watch for the Super Bowl halftime show too. I mean, Who? It's Rihanna this year.
Rihanna, yeah, yeah. Rihanna's this Super Bowl performer. Obviously, last year was Dr. Dre, um, which I thought watching it myself that Eminem should have just did the whole thing. I think he got the most. I don't know. The crowd seemed like they really enjoyed him more than anything. I mean, I know it was out in L.A. and Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg and them are big out there, but and then the year before that was The Weekend. We had Shakira. For me, I like when it's just one performer. I don't like when they do these collabs and they have they bring, like, for instance, like Maroon 5. I like Maroon 5. I used to really like them back in the day. And he had Travis Scott that year and Big Boy, and it was in Atlanta. And so they wanted to bring in some flavor for the Atlanta crowd, and it just takes away from, I feel like, the main performer. I like just having, like Coldplay, for instance. That was one of the worst that I've seen in recent years. The Coldplay one, I think that was in San Fran that year, and Bruno Mars and Beyonce saved that halftime performance. And that's another thing. Like, I hate performers that can't sing live. I just like, if you can't sing live, then to me you're just not a good. You're just, I don't want to listen to you. I like all this auto tune shit that we have today and things like that. It's fake in my opinion. Like back in the day, these guys like Sinatra and Dean Martin, these guys didn't have no auto tune. They just had a microphone and performed. And like Bruno Mars, his halftime, I think it was. I like him. I like Bruno Mars. I think when he had a really good one. I thought Lady Gaga, even hers was good. I mean, she's a good performer, And I don't know. What do you think?
Oh man, I really like the Justin Timberlake and the Bruno Mars. Again, I kind of agree with you on that. I think the hype around so many different, such a big cast of characters is tough to follow. The just the solo acts are typically my favorite thing. I don't know if I'm too terribly excited about what we've got coming up this weekend, but I don't really care about when your team's in the Super Bowl. Does the Super Bowl halftime show or the commercials really mean
No, I
anything,
mean,
or are you
no,
pacing
no.
around for most of the for most of the
Justin,
game
yeah, I mean,
anyways?
so Justin Timberlake was the performer when the Eagles were, you know, kicked. Well, they didn't kick Patriots' ass that year, but um,
It was pretty good. I mean,
it,
it was something
it,
else. Hey
Justin
Joe,
Timberlake. Yeah. What's up?
no, go ahead, go ahead.
I was actually disappointed in Justin Timberlake because he's a good. I mean, he's got the instinct background, he's got the dancing background, and I don't know. There's something about that performance. I think it was maybe, obviously the halftime's made for TV. It's not made for people in the crowd. Like look at the weekend 2 years ago. I mean, he was dancing around in a room of mirrors when he did Blinding Lights, or whatever song he was doing. I mean, no one in the stadium is gonna even realize what the hell's going on. But I mean, I think Rihanna's gonna do good. I mean, she hasn't. I haven't really listened to any of her music in a long time. I mean, I know she comes here to Philly in the Philly area that when she has concerts and stuff. But I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I don't. The halftime is what it is. It's a break for me. It's like you just you chill for the 15, 20 minutes, and and you just sit there and see what's trending on Twitter too when people do some dumb crap.
Hey, speaking of what's trending, because now that I kind of got this, I see what our issue is, Joe. And when we get done, I'll tell you what was going on. But I wanted to bring this back up because you told me when I asked you about doing this show in the first place, you told me that there was one stipulation, and I think some of you missed the stipulation earlier. Joe said that I would only be able to do the show with him if I made sure that I made it publicly known each week who all of Joe's affiliates and sponsors and ways that you can pad his pockets with extra cash through the off season. So there's a list of Joe sponsors, members, Patreons, all of his affiliate links. So make sure you click on those. Take a picture with your phone right now, and make sure you go support those. That's a list of all of Joe's stuff there. Not like just Joe. You do you, and don't really worry about what everybody else is saying if you know what I mean. All right, Joe. Hey, I said in the description of this show that if we went over an hour, people could slap us in the face. Okay, so I see now that we are approaching the 55-minute mark. So we're going to start wrapping this thing up. And here's what we will tell you: we want this show for you to be something that is something that if you miss the live, you can come back and you don't have to watch. It's something that you can listen to. You can watch if you want, but it's not going to be a 2, 3, 4 hour, 5 hour, 6 hour long, drawn out. I'll save my choice of words for things, but we're not going to make this something that just wears you out, that it just drags on and on. And I'm sure we've probably drug on a little bit tonight, right, Joe? Joe and I are still getting to know each other, right? We don't talk on the phone every day. This is probably the longest, or it is the longest we've talked for one set time since we first started communicating. And I said in the description last night, if we're not done in less than an hour ever, you can slap us in the face. So we're going to wrap this thing up in less than an hour. We'll get some of these kinks figured out. I already know what the issue is before next week. And we will plan on seeing you 7:55 if you want to hang out with us a little bit early, or at 8 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Eastern time every Tuesday evening. Hogs are up 37-36 with 1:11 left in the first half. I'm going to finish this up right at halftime so I can catch the second half and enjoy the rest of my birthday. All right? Everybody asking who you are, Joe. We talked about that at the beginning of the show. Joe is my unlikely duo co-host. Never imagined myself in this situation. I'm sure he never did either. But alas, here we are, and we will be here again next Tuesday. Joe, any parting words for the folks?
Go Birds.
Go Birds. Here we go. Big Super Bowl this weekend. Thank you all for joining us. We appreciate you checking this out with us. We'll have plenty more for you. Some things we missed this week, some new things each week. And don't worry, for all you people freaking out, we will talk about lawn care, but it ain't happening tonight. Thanks, y'all.
We're not talking about the signs. Have a good night, guys, and go Birds again.
We'll see you soon. Thanks.